In the early 1980s, Washington, D.C. was a place of secrets. Inside the gray stone buildings of the U.S. government, intelligence officers worked day and night, decoding messages and analyzing threats. One of them was a young man named Jonathan Pollard. He was smart, ambitious, and had a high-level security clearance. But what no one suspected was that Pollard was about to commit one of the most controversial acts of espionage in American history. Jonathan J. Pollard worked as a civilian analyst for the U.S. Navy. His job gave him access to highly classified information, reports about weapons systems, surveillance programs, and the activities of foreign governments. But at some point, Pollard began passing this information to a foreign country. It wasn't Russia or China. It was Israel. Pollard had long admired Israel and felt a deep connection to the Jewish state. He believed that the U.S. was holding back important information that could help protect Israeli lives. He thought he was doing the right thing, helping an ally. What started with a few shared documents quickly grew into something much bigger. Soon, Pollard was secretly copying thousands of pages of classified material and handing them over to Israeli agents. The exchange was not subtle. Pollard would meet his Israeli contacts in parking lots or at restaurants. He used briefcases and garbage bags to deliver documents. In return, he received cash, expensive gifts, and even jewelry for his wife. But he wasn't just motivated by money. He claimed his real motivation was moral. He believed he was saving lives. Still, the scale of the operation raised suspicions. Pollard's behavior at work became strange. He asked for access to documents outside his area of expertise. He spent long hours at the office and often took classified materials home. One day, a coworker noticed him stuffing papers into a briefcase and reported it. The investigation began quietly, but it moved fast. In November 1985, Pollard realized he was being followed. Panicked, he and his wife tried to flee. They drove to the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C., hoping to find refuge. But Israeli officials, not wanting to create a diplomatic crisis, turned them away. Minutes later, Pollard was arrested outside the gates. The news shocked the American public. A U.S. citizen spying for an ally? It didn't fit the typical Cold War spy story. Pollard admitted to passing secrets, but insisted he had never intended to harm the U.S., only to help Israel. But the amount of material he had given was massive. Some reports said he had delivered enough documents to fill a room. The legal case moved quickly. In 1987, Pollard pleaded guilty to espionage and was sentenced to life in prison. His wife, Anne, also received a sentence for her role in the operation. Meanwhile, the Israeli government denied any formal involvement at first. Only years later did Israel officially admit Pollard had worked for them. Pollard's story didn't end there. In prison, he became a symbol. Some saw him as a traitor who had put American lives at risk. Others viewed him as a hero who had acted out of loyalty to Israel. Israeli politicians began lobbying for his release. His case became a point of tension in U.S.-Israel relations. Over the years, several Israeli leaders asked American presidents to pardon him, but each time the requests were denied. Behind bars, Pollard spent his time reading, writing, and giving interviews. He spoke about his motivations, his regrets, and his treatment in prison. His supporters said he was being punished too harshly, especially since he had spied for an ally. His critics pointed to the damage he had done to national security and the trust between intelligence agencies. In 2015, after 30 years in prison, Jonathan Pollard was released on parole. He was not allowed to leave the United States, use the internet freely, or talk to foreign officials. But in 2020, the parole conditions were lifted, and Pollard flew to Israel with his wife. He received a hero's welcome at the airport. Israeli leaders praised him. The Prime Minister even met with him personally. To his supporters, it was a long overdue moment of justice. To others, it was a reminder of a painful and complicated chapter in American history. Even today, the Pollard incident raises questions. What makes someone a spy? Is it loyalty to country or loyalty to cause? How far should someone go to help an ally? Was Pollard a patriot or a traitor, a victim of politics or a danger to security? The answers depend on who you ask, and the debate is far from over.